Think back to the last time you had a heated debate with a classmate, or maybe a warm and supportive talk with a close friend. In both cases, emotions were at the center of the interaction. Today, we're going to explore not only what emotions are and how they influence communication, but also the theories that explain why we feel the way we do, and how we can use that knowledge to become better communicators. What are emotions? Emotions are short-term feelings that arise in response to specific situations. They are different from moods, which last longer and are less tied to a particular cause. The psychologist Paul Ekman identified 6 basic emotions that appear across all cultures: happiness, sadness, fear, anger, surprise, and disgust. These basic emotions are considered universal because they are recognized across different societies. For example, a smile signals happiness whether you're in the US, China, or Brazil. Beyond these, we also have social emotions, such as pride, guilt, shame, or embarrassment. These emotions emerge when we interact with others and are guided by social norms. For instance, you may feel guilty if you forget to text a friend back, or proud when you receive recognition for a group project. Charles Darwin was one of the first to argue that emotions are biologically hardwired and evolved to serve adaptive functions. For example, fear helps us avoid danger, while anger prepares us to confront a threat. Ekman provided evidence that facial expressions are universal, strengthening Darwin's evolutionary perspective. Why emotions matter in interpersonal communication. Emotions are central to how we connect with one another. Let's go through 6 key ways. 1. Self-awareness and emotional regulation. The first is self-awareness. The psychologist Daniel Goleman, in his work on emotional intelligence, identified self-awareness as the foundation for all emotional skills. If you recognize that you're anxious before giving a speech, you can take a few deep breaths and reframe your nervousness as excitement. This is called reappraisal, and research shows it reduces stress. Example: imagine you're about to present in class. Instead of saying to yourself, "I'm terrified," you can say, "My body is preparing me to do well." That small shift in appraisal changes your communication. 2. Improving empathy. Once we understand ourselves, we can better understand others. Carl Rogers, a humanistic psychologist, emphasized empathy as the key to building genuine human relationships. Example: when you notice your roommate looking upset after a long day, instead of ignoring it, you might say, "You seem a little down. Do you want to talk?" That recognition makes your relationship stronger. 3. Clearer communication. Communication is clearer when we name emotions directly. Instead of vague statements like, "You never listen," try, "I feel unheard when you interrupt me." This I message format, popularized in communication training, reduces defensiveness and clarifies meaning. 4. Conflict resolution. Emotions often drive conflicts. According to John Gottman's research on relationships, couples who recognize and soothe each other's emotions are far more successful than those who escalate. Example: if 2 friends argue over group work, acknowledging the feelings, "I feel stressed because I'm worried about the deadline," is more effective than accusing, "You're so irresponsible." 5. Building trust and intimacy. Self-disclosure of emotions creates trust. Social penetration theory by Altman and Taylor suggests that as relationships develop, people share more personal emotions, leading to greater intimacy. Example: When you tell a friend you're nervous about moving to a new city, you invite them to share their vulnerabilities too, strengthening the bond. 6. Enhancing decision-making. Antonio Damasio's somatic marker hypothesis shows that emotions guide decision-making. People who lack emotional processing due to brain injury often struggle to make even simple decisions, because emotions help us weigh pros and cons. Example: if you're deciding between two jobs, your logical mind might weigh salary and benefits, but your emotions help you sense which environment feels right. Causes of emotions. One key framework is appraisal theory. This theory argues that emotions come not from events themselves, but from our evaluations of them. Richard Lazarus emphasized that people appraise situations in terms of relevance, responsibility, and coping potential. Example: if a professor gives critical feedback, one student might see it as an attack and feel angry, while another sees it as helpful advice and feels grateful. The difference lies in appraisal, not in the event itself. Emotional action tendencies. According to Nico Frieda's theory, each emotion triggers an action tendency. Fear motivates escape. Anger motivates confrontation. Joy motivates approach and sharing. Example: if someone suddenly yells in a dark alley, fear might make you run before you even consciously decide. That's an action tendency in motion. Recognizing these tendencies helps us pause and choose deliberate actions, instead of reacting impulsively. Activities for emotional reflection. To build emotional awareness, we can try the emotion reflection stare. Two people maintain eye contact for a minute in silence. You may feel nervous, giggly, or even strangely calm. This discomfort forces us to confront our emotions directly. In Buddhism, the practice of contemplation of the mind teaches that by observing others, we gain insight into ourselves. For example, when you notice someone else's impatience, it might reflect your own restless tendencies. This external mirror deepens self-awareness. Factors that affect emotions and communication. Finally, emotions and communication are influenced by cultural norms. Kjetil Hofstede's cultural dimensions show that in collectivist cultures, emotions like anger are often suppressed to maintain harmony, while in individualist cultures, open expression is more common. Emotional intelligence. Meyer and Salovey defined emotional intelligence as the ability to perceive, use, understand, and regulate emotions. High EI predicts better workplace and relational outcomes. Relationship context. The closeness and type of relationship affect emotional expression. We may express frustration to a sibling, but hide it from a professor. To conclude, emotions are not random. They are structured, deeply social, and guided by theories that explain their role in human life. From Ekman's universal emotions to Lazarus's appraisal theory and Goleman's emotional intelligence, the study of emotions shows us how to regulate ourselves, empathize with others, and build stronger connections. Remember, emotions are the bridge between our inner world and our social world. By learning to walk that bridge with awareness, we can create clearer, kinder, and more meaningful communication.